Good evening. I am Mike Meekhof, and thank you for tuning in to Meekhof Primetime. We expected to hear more today on the possible but unlikely resumption of high school sports, but the MHSAA Representative Council said it was unable to come to a resolution. Instead, they released a statement out to the media today that said the council meeting was only informational to try to consider the steps forward for fall and winter sports. They also announced that MHSAA Executive Director Mark Ewell will remain in discussions with Governor Whitmer's administration, and that the council will formulate a plan for the resumption on December 16th, a week from today. I think football at this point is honestly a lost cause. I mean, just considering the weather in January and February, and when are you going to make room for it in the spring? How is it going to work with that many months off? I think it's a lost cause, but there's more to be seen about basketball since that season doesn't end until mid-March. So we'll see if they can put something together. I like to be more optimistic about things, so I think that there's a good chance that they could come back, but we'll have to see. So next, I'd like to welcome Reese Puffer offensive lineman Marco Fields. Thanks for joining us. How you doing? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I'd like to start out with this past season. What were some of the things that you felt you improved on from your sophomore year, and what are some things you need to work on for your senior year?
Um, I'd say so. This season, something I feel like I improved on is exploding off the ball a lot quicker, and getting more aggressive. But for the following senior season, this will be my last season, so I'm gonna have to, just go all out, not stand up, get stronger, use my hands a lot more. Because I'm just used to, just pushing people around. It's not gonna happen, getting to college.
Have you guys been working out as a team at all? Have you guys, tried to put something together without coaches, just kind of you guys going after it?
I know there was a couple of guys that were trying to, go to the high school and run some routes for the wide receiver side, but for linemen, there was some, like individuals hitting the gym alone, but all together, there's a couple kids, out there working for the next season.
So Terrence Taylor was your offensive line coach last season. What were some of the most important things you learned from him? And how does it feel knowing that you're working with someone that's one of the all-time greats from this area and a former NFL player?
Um, One of the main things is like how he said when he was in high school, how he used every chance to get to, get to the next level, and not everybody makes it to the NFL. And he was just explaining how um, the stuff you have to do, what you need to do, and all that. And he's been working with me this offseason a couple times before COVID got shut down again. And he's just been working out. But yeah.
So talk about how Coach Birds kind of came in and positively turned this program around. What were some of the differences you noticed about him compared to the previous staff that was there your freshman year?
As soon as he came here, he wasn't all worried about wins and losses or what our previous records were and how many times we made playoffs. He was more worried about team bonding. Like he had a lot of people for team dinner. We, sit down, talk, get to know each other's because we didn't have that many communications between players. So he was more worried about the trust, all that in between the players themselves. So I really like that about that.
Yeah, and I've always said, the two best things about the two greatest things a coach can have that can make someone win anywhere are if you know your X's and O's and if you can build relationships with your players. Because I see a lot of almost every coach knows their X's and O's, but it comes down to whether they can build relationships with their players and whether their players want to play for them. And that's what separates great programs from bad programs. And I think Coach Bird's doing all the right things there so far. So how much college attention would you say you've gotten over your high school career?
From freshman year being on varsity, I didn't really get that much attention because I wasn't a starter. But once Bird came, he set everything up himself. We took it, step by step. It's not all happen at once. But I feel, I got coaches looking at me. I've been to some college coaches, visiting and getting in contact with them, but it's all in God's hands right now. So I just pray for next season it'll be better.
What are your top three dream schools if you were to narrow it down?
Um, let's see. I really like my favorite school right now is Penn State. I really like it down there. So Penn State. I don't know. I like Ferris. I've visited down there. I like the atmosphere down there. The coaches are really nice. And then probably like Iowa.
That's sweet. And so just best of luck to you for the rest of this year and for your senior year. We really appreciate it. Uh, keep doing great things.
Thank you.
So, like I was saying earlier, there's just I feel like there's such little, and I try to be an optimist as much as I can, but I feel like there's just such little hope for fall sports to come back when you consider kids that are like I saw Davison's quarterback is going for early enrollment. So how are they going to be without them? And how can you consider it a legitimate championship if not all the players that would have been there at the beginning are playing? I mean, there's just so many obstacles that go with it that I just don't think it's realistic. And like I was saying last week, I feel awful for everybody that was still in the state tournament, especially in our area. When you consider uh, Montague, Mona Shores, Muskegon, and Oak Ridge. They were all in the playoffs, and they all had a chance to win it. And it just really it hurts me seeing that all the seniors that put in that much hard work throughout the spring, throughout the summer, and I know how hard it is. I played at Shores for a couple of years, and just to have that taken away from you is it's awful. And I really I hope they get to finish it out, and I don't think it's likely though. And I hope they get to. I just hope there's some end of the season, and if there's not, I just wish all those players the best of luck, and I hope uh, as much as to go play college football because I don't want their last game to be one that they won and we're expecting to play another game. I like seeing teams finish on the field, and I think all those teams really had a good shot at winning a state championship. I mean, Muskegon was really coming along. They had some bumps in the beginning of the season, but they were rolling teams at the end. Mona Shores had been dominant all year long. Montague had been dominant all year long. And Oak Ridge, it was kind of like Muskegon, where they had a couple bumps and an early loss, but they rebounded and they were in contention. So it just really hurts me seeing that type of stuff happen. And I really hope that they get a chance to resume. As always, this episode is kind of short, but I really appreciate all you guys that continue to watch my show, continue to support me and my dreams, and just thank you for everything. As always, thanks for watching Meekhof Primetime. Stay safe and keep the faith.